We often focus on the stability of a mountain, a massive structure unshakable in a storm. Being centered is that defensive posture. It protects your peace. But a mountain lacks a destination. An arrow, by contrast, is a masterpiece of intent. It possesses a vector, a specific direction, and a piercing magnitude. It is possible to be perfectly calm and centered while standing on a path that leads straight off a cliff. Centering keeps you from falling, but alignment is what keeps you moving toward a meaningful target. When our external actions fail to match our internal values, we trigger cognitive dissonance. This is a biological crisis where the brain registers the discrepancy between what we believe and what we do as physical pain. Misalignment feels like a low-grade chronic itch in the soul. It's the exhaustion of wearing a social mask. Because the brain seeks efficiency, it often uses rationalization to dull this pain, telling us clever lies to make a crooked life look straight. Over the next 5 minutes, we are going to build a daily directional audit. This is a journaling framework using 4 specific time blocks to ensure your daily actions are stacked directly on top of your ultimate goals. Removing this internal friction converts the energy usually wasted on guilt and hesitation into the kinetic energy of pure purpose. Step 1 is the morning aim. Before you open your email or check social media, you must explicitly define your trajectory before the world attempts to aim your bow for you. We begin with Immanuel Kant's universalization test. This is a mental ritual where you treat your own actions as a prototype for all of humanity to follow. Open your journal and answer this prompt. If everyone on Earth worked exactly the way I am about to work today, would the world thrive or collapse? Next, we apply the Socratic standard for intellectual integrity. Socrates believed that alignment was impossible if your private self and your public self were 2 different people. If you have to hide your actions to feel okay, you are misaligned. Run your daily to-do list through this Socratic prompt. If my private schedule was published today, could I defend the logic of it in the public square? Finally, identify your sacred veto. This is based on the internal voice Socrates heard that only spoke up to tell him no. Identify one toxic distraction or low-value task on your calendar today and strike it out. A successful morning aim ensures that the person you are in private is the exact same person you represent to the world. During the peak of your workday, the risk of crookedness increases. Set a recurring 2 p.m. phone alarm labeled flow check to mitigate this drift. This chart displays the state of flow, the biological sweet spot where your internal skills perfectly match the external challenge. If the alarm goes off and you feel anxiety, your arrow is too heavy. The challenge is currently outstripping your skills, and you must adjust the task difficulty down to regain alignment. If you feel boredom, the challenge is too low. Your arrow is too light to fly true. You must intentionally increase the complexity of what you are doing. Make immediate adjustments until you enter this center channel of 0 friction. When you consistently stay in flow, your self-consciousness disappears. You no longer feel like you are trying. You biologically become the act itself. At the end of the day, you must perform a private audit. This requires brutal honesty, as the brain will naturally try to rationalize any bad behavior to avoid the discomfort of dissonance. We use the Stoic concept of prohairesis, or moral choice. A Stoic archer does everything to aim perfectly, but realizes that once the arrow is released, the wind is out of their control. Write down the Stoic evening prompt. Where did I let an external event shift my internal focus today? Did I get angry at the wind for blowing? Next, we address the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress or ignore. When we are misaligned with our shadow, we project our internal anger onto others. Apply the Jungian prompt. Who triggered me today, and what repressed trait of my own was I projecting onto them? Confronting your own hypocrisy and hidden darkness ends your internal civil war. It ensures you carry no psychological drag into the next day. Before sleep, dedicate 10 minutes to absolute silence. This is the midnight hour. Spend this time stripping away your external roles. In this silence, you are not a boss, a parent, or a consumer. You are simply a human standing before the absolute. Soren Kierkegaard warned against double-mindedness, the misery of trying to serve two masters, or crowdsourcing your purpose from others. Answer the final prompt. Was I double-minded today? Did I do things for the applause of the crowd, or for my true singular purpose? Isolating yourself from an audience is the only way to prove your North Star is genuine. It results in a perfectly unified will. You now have the full toolkit: the morning aim, the midday calibration, the evening audit, and the midnight reset. This framework eliminates internal friction. When you stop the biological waste of constant rationalization, your brain recovers the significant energy previously burned on internal conflict. You aren't finding new fuel, you are simply stopping the leaks. Start tonight. Place your journal on your nightstand immediately and execute your very first evening review. Maintain your centeredness for your own personal peace, but you must relentlessly align your arrow to impact the world.